All right, so guys, we are here with two of my favorite clients in the world, Elicia and James, the power team, the power couple, and we're going to be talking about the results they've achieved and how they've achieved it over the last just over 2 years. They've built a business on track for 7 figures, so they've got a 7-figure business that does over 20K a week, which is really freaking impressive. And I know that sounds big, but we're going to break down by going through a series of questions how they've gotten to that point. They've got 9 staff now. Things have changed a lot in the way that you run your life, your family, you guys working together as a team, because James wasn't in the picture at the start in the business, and now he works in the business and runs a business, which is awesome. You guys have 30 and 40K weeks with your team doing all of that for you. That's impressive. You generate 80 to 100 leads a week. Is that a week?
Yeah.
I just asked them for all the numbers and they've just pumped it with me, so I'm just relaying them out. It's impressive. They're doing really well is the gist of things. And so they help massage therapists start their business and get clients in that initial phase and then scale it up from there. And they're world class at that because Elicia ran a massage therapy business for 10 years or 15? 16 years.
Yeah.
So that's a crazy amount of experience. And then sold that business after starting this. Mm-hmm. I remember in the first 4 weeks, it was like struggle, 20K week in week 5, from going failed campaign, no results, no leads, to over 100 people register for a webinar, 10 sales at 2K each over a week, and did 20 grand in a week. And then from there, it just became up, down, sideways, what we're talking about before. We could do this interview for so long, but we'll try to keep it as concise as possible. But it's been an amazing journey. Thank you so much for being here. I'm just going to ask you a series of questions, and our goal is to give these guys as much value and as much truth around what it actually takes to get to that milestone. And I know we were talking about it off camera before that, yeah, we've gotten to, it's been over 2 years now, and we've got a 7-figure business, a business that does 7 figures, which is impressive, but that's really impressive. I know I talk about getting there really quickly, and I got there in 7 months, and blah, blah, blah. In 10 months. And most people fail. Most coaches fail. 4% make it, and less than 1% get anywhere near 7 figures. So you guys have achieved what statistically is almost unachievable. And that is impressive. That is so impressive. And well, let's just debunk how. Because the thing that separates you both is you run this seriously. And I can't wait to kind of just explain to these guys how, what's going on. So what I'd like to know initially from both of you, we'll just kind of go in between. I know Elicia is the talker, but James is also going to put in his opinion. But starting out, because these guys are starting out, what created the first big breakthrough that enabled you to go from nothing to breaking through and making money with this? What was the big breakthrough that it took initially to get results?
Well, I think if we looked at that webinar, I'd had a bunch of campaigns that I had tried and we were getting some traction. I'd made a few sales, but I think it was literally having to invest and committing and going, and James saying to me the famous words are, I won't pay for 1 cent of this program, because we had amassed some debt from our previous business, and I basically stepped up, committed anyway, and him just saying that was like, well, I can't make this happen, but I can follow the plan. So I just took what you gave me, implemented like a crazy person, which I think distracted me from the anxiety that I was feeling. Yeah. Had 100 people register for our webinar, had 45 attend, made 10 sales in 2 days, and went, I think I've got this.
That's crazy results.
Yeah.
But to get to that point, you were a full-time mum, you were working in your previous business still as well. Yep. And James had pretty much forced you to take ownership for this and make the investment profitable, because it was a big investment for where you guys were at. And so it forced you to do the work. I just think that the fact that you worked between 9 p.m. at night, because I remember when I spoke with you on that initial call, the couple of things I remember is that you're a very protective mum and a very caring mum, and you were not going to sabotage any of that, which is really cool. I love the way you guys parent. It's ridiculous coming from someone that wants to be a great parent in the future. And the second thing was that there was a lot of lack of belief of the possibility of what could happen. I remember talking about the idea of potentially having 100 clients in the future, and you're like, let's just start with a couple.
Let's start with a couple, just easy, back it up. Yeah. So when I stepped into the program, it was school holidays, and I was still running my old massage clinic. So I had 3 staff at the time, plus I was working 4 days a week, and it was school holidays. So when you're like, well, when are you going to get your campaigns done? I'm like, well, I'll just have to do it at night. So I did. I'd put the kids to bed about 7 o'clock. I'd hang out with James for around an hour or so, and then I would jump straight into work until about 1 or 2 or 3 a.m. It's not sustainable.
No, it's not.
But that season enabled me to be able to create what we're seeing today. So really, really worth it. Mainlined coffee, 100%. That was just the thing. And it was so exciting to get results. And I still am in contact with some of those clients that came through at that point. And just to see their results where they're at now, 2 years later, is phenomenal.
That's so cool. It's awesome. So the next thing that I want to talk through with you guys is about some of the hiccups you've had on the journey. And it's interesting because for those of you that are watching, there's the initial breakthrough in business comes when you start to get results for yourself. But then when you start to get a team, I mean, that presents a massive set of its own issues because you've got other people that are counting on you. And anyone that's a coach knows that we've always got the best intention. We've always got the best intentions for our clients. We've always got the best intentions with our team members, but we have clients drop out, but we have team members leave because we're not perfect and we're trying to figure this whole thing out. And so you guys have had to go through the hardship of both of those seasons. I know like I said season before because it's true, you do have to hustle harder at the start, but no, it's not sustainable to work hours like that's ridiculous.
Guys, this is how it's done, rather than you just do that because I'm not good at it and I'll just kind of abdicate, like I'll just get them to do that stuff.
So you're saying sell from a place of hire salespeople from a place of needing to build versus avoidance.
Yes, exactly. Yes, absolutely.
So what would you say to the guys, just quickly, sorry to detour there, Elicia, to the guys that are watching that think, oh, sales isn't for me, what would you say to those guys?
It's a good story. I'm a massage therapist. I don't know if you've met many therapists, but we're very nicey, touchy-feely, caring, cuddly people. For me to go from that to a 90% sales rate is just literally more stories and more evidence and more learning to create that. And it didn't happen overnight, but it's like when you go to the gym, you don't just sign up and become a member and get fit. You've actually got to go.
Yes. That's
the purpose. And it's the same with sales calls. You build the muscle of sales. For me, when I get on a sales call, it's like parenting in that I will see my crappy behavior and belief system modeled to me in 7 and 8-year-old boy form. And I'll also see some of those limiting beliefs at the end of a sales call. And the more that I've been willing to coach through those, the better my conversion rate has been.
Yeah, great.
And the more lives we get to impact, which is what ultimately, as a caring, touchy-feely person, that's my outcome. That's actually what I want to see. So it's just about building the muscle.
Have you found that through learning to be consistent, because when you said consistency is the biggest struggle, it is hard to be consistent because sales takes a lot of energy. Have you found that through doing that, the selling, you've actually grown as a person at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How so?
Just, at the start, there's almost a little bit of disbelief, like, really? I can say all that and you're not hanging up on me? Oh, cool. Okay, well, awesome. Well, let's just keep going. And sometimes I'd be on a call thinking, can I really say that? I just did. They said yes. Oh my God, really? And I remember saying, one time I had 17 no's in a row. And I remember hearing a story of somebody that had got 27 no's in a row.
Yeah, it was a guy I mentored before I started winning.
Yeah. I think it was that story. And I thought, well, I've just got to keep going. And the 18th person said yes. And she's one of people in our now core program. And she's the most beautiful person. Yeah. And I remember when I said, are you ready to step up? Yes or no? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, I said, really? And she's like, you didn't expect me to say that, did you? I'm like, idiot, backtrack quick. No, it's awesome. It's great to have you on board. I can't wait to have you get results. It's like, fuck. But, just keeping on pushing through, it really does, it does grow you as a person. Because if you're willing to see some of your crappy behavior and beliefs and you're willing to work on those, it actually means that you can help more people.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's on point. And so for the guys watching, model please. James, how about yourself? When you guys started getting a team between then and now, because how long has it been since you've had a team? Just over a year?
About a year.
Yeah.
About a year.
Yeah? What has been the biggest kind of thing you've had to get through or learn, or the biggest struggle with the team? Because I've had struggles and I still do.
It would be consistency again. Like the first couple of people we employed weren't salespeople, they were admins and that sort of stuff. And that's much easier because you can give them very defined things to do and they just either do them or they don't, and it works quite well.
Yeah.
But with sales, so much more of it depends on the confidence and the skill level of the salesperson. And so the biggest struggle has been actually finding salespeople and training and working with them so that they can perform consistently. Because even the first couple of people we had on board, we weren't that experienced. We were still building a heap of other stuff in the business, so we weren't as focused on them specifically. And they actually did quite well. Looking back on it, considering that we didn't focus on them that much, they did pretty well, just with a little bit of help and a little bit of encouragement. But then that kind of dropped off after a few months, and we've gone through a hiring process a few times since then. Have a really great sales team now, but our hands-on work with them is way higher than it was at the start. Especially Alicia's really the lead for that at the moment. And so she'll be meeting with them heaps of times each week, touching base with them daily as they're working. We've got them checking in with their numbers and stuff all the time. And even with that, some weeks they do a great job, and some weeks we still get like 0 sales from the team. So that is the challenge. And it's hard because 7 figures is a great turnover. You know, some weeks we do great sales, but it's still not consistently as high as we want it to be. It's a journey that continues. It's getting better every month. It's getting better, but it's a solid learning journey for us as well as for them.
I love that. It's consistency. Because what it took at the start was courage, and then you move to the consistency realm. And I found with the team, it's because we're entrepreneurs by nature, we think that we operate like this, and so everyone else will operate the same way, but they don't. They need management. And it's hard to transition, because if you're in corporate, you get taught to manage and mentored to manage over a series of years, because you're watching and you're being managed. And then you have somebody that trains you to manage and then oversees you and as managing you. So you're part of that and you learn how to do it. Whereas you just hire someone and now you're a manager. It's instant. And you got to figure out how to do it.
And in corporate, there's a whole system for management already set up with every role well defined and systems in place and KPIs and all that sort of stuff. And we just have to create all that as we're going and change it.
I think the big learning that I see from more of an objective point of view from listening to this, and for the guys that are watching, is there is so much to do to form a business that operates with a big team and that's doing over 7 figures. There is so much to do. Job descriptions, KPIs, one-to-ones, vital signs, weekly action meetings. There's just so many things that need to be put in place and mastered. And then you have to have it in place, but then do it every week while you're doing and dealing with challenges, while you're growing as a person, while you've got to do stuff in your personal life. There's just so much to do.
It's the truth.
But
still like lots of coffee.
That's right.
But the reality is we do this because we love it. And once you're in there and you're in the thick of it, you just always find a way. If you're committed to the long term, you always find a way. And I know one of the biggest things that holds people back starting out is they see their vision and it's this huge thing. And so they set these massive goals, but they don't just start going, I've just got to call some people today. And they don't do it day by day and love what they get to do on a daily basis. That's been a theme for me recently. It's like falling back in love with what I'm doing, because you're always going to have to do it. And you can't skip things. You have to be thorough and get the stuff done. And if you don't love what you do, you just don't get it done. You skip it or you'll quit. And so many people have the courage to start in our process, because it's really, everyone's forced to have that courage really. But then they get it and they have the results and then they don't stick it out. And I know you would have seen that with a bunch of other clients we've had in that have got great results, fail because they quit. So you guys might think it's impossible to get results. It's not. Getting the results is actually easy. It's keeping the results and pushing through to the point that you get to the next level, then have a team, and then pushing through that to have the team working. And once you get to that point, life's a lot more freed up and easy. But then you can choose whether you want to scale it again and then have your next kind of growth spurt with its own set of challenges as well. Yeah, really interesting.
And part of the motivation too, I reckon, is to keep focusing on the clients. Like we have this vision board thing that's just got all the Facebook messages that our clients send us. And so when you have a real struggle town day or something happens or whatever happens, it's easy to get on the back foot and start feeling kind of negative and focus on all those challenges.
Of course,
And all we do is like go stand in front of this part of the wall that we've got and look at the amazing clients that we've got, and we really do love them. You know, these are our clients, and it's amazing to be supported by them and to have that role in supporting them. And it's a huge part of the motivation. So we've got to make this work. Look at these guys.
They need us. And the stories, I mean, I love it when people get results. It's fantastic. They get more clients, they're rebooking, they build their confidence. But it's when people build the confidence to actually do the stuff that they've always wanted to, that is what gets, who they get to become along the way. That is what gets me juiced. And I'm always pumped about results. However, I'm even more excited by who they become along the journey.
Exactly.
And that is like when their identity shifts from I'm just a massage therapist to I'm a health leader. And that is a massive shift in what comes with that. And I love that. It's phenomenal to watch and be a part of that growth.
And it's the intangibles, because most people don't see that, they detach from it. And I remember when we were at the Thailand retreat, for me that was actually, you guys were that for me. Because you were able to bring your mum to Thailand and bring the kids on the holiday and afford to do that while you were traveling, and it was just awesome.
No,
for me, that like
agree.
really hit home, and I was like, it was just like a really heartfelt moment for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't about the money that you made.
Yeah,
It was what
exactly.
you're able to do with it, what your lifestyle was like. Yeah, that's awesome.
I think at the start, I remember after the big webinar, we bought a dog, and it was like, so we rescued a dog from the pound, and it was kind
Peanut.
of crazy. Yeah, Peanut the dog.
Yeah.
She's our office mascot now, and she's gorgeous. But you know, before that, we were struggling. We probably couldn't have afforded a dog at the time. And even to have her as a sign, it wasn't just of money in bank. It was like, hey, we've got this dog now, we can take care of her. To then have the kids overseas in Thailand, we went to the PP Islands twice. And because they know where we've come from, they were so grateful the whole time. The kids were just like, this is an incredible experience.
Yeah.
And actually, while we were at the resort in Thailand, we wrote our family values. Like, we wrote out what we stand for as a family.
So cool.
And it was just from a place of absolute abundance and gratitude, which was phenomenal. It's, again, one of those intangibles that, yes, results are fantastic, and so are results like that.
Yeah. So, I know there's a lot of guys that are watching. You guys are now you've been doing this for 2 years with us, and you continue to invest and work alongside us. And I know we've got the VIP Mastermind now, where I help you guys a lot more one-to-one. But why did you not just do it by yourself? Like, why did you invest 16K plus to be able to be in this process when you could have done it yourself? Like, why didn't you do it yourself?
Because I'd run a business for 16 years, and I knew what one-to-one was like. So as a massage therapist, you can't scale. You pretty much have to be hands-on unless you have staff, which is what we did. And as I went into coaching, I'm like, what I'm learning I want to take to the massage professionals. I'm not doing one-on-one coaching. I have to be able to do this leverage. It has to be possible. I also don't just want to coach people in one area. It's got to be all over the place. So for me, it was about having to have that leverage. So, and I know that if I invest, I have to, if I've committed to something, I won't not do what I'm told. Like, that's just how I roll. You give me a plan, I'll action it.
Do you think that investment put more urgency for you to make it work?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes,
awesome.
it did. And also having the structure. Do this step, this step, this step, that means that goal. Done. This is all I've got to do right now. That's overwhelming. Cool, just do this step. Just launch your campaign. Just come up with one topic. It's all you've got to do. And then figure out the tech, save it as a PDF, create some landing page and a video. Done. Next step. Like, just literally break it down to the
You guys are role model clients. Just for everyone else watching, be like these guys, because they just follow the plan. And now we've got performance coaches in the business that hold our clients accountable, and you didn't have that at the start, and you still were able to do the work. And some clients still don't do the work, even though they have people calling them 3+ times per
I
week.
just don't get that. It's like, if I say I'm going to do something, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
I remember someone say, what do you need? I'm like, the plan. I'll do it. I said I would, so I will.
Do you think it's because you went through in a business that you tried so hard to make successful at a high level for so long and went through a lot of hardship that made you more kind of like, are you joking? Like, this is so good, I'm just going to keep doing it?
Yeah, I think part of it, I was also homeschooled from grade 4 to year 10.
Yeah.
And I think I've got a lot of really awesome self-motivated tools from that.
That's great.
Being able to go, right, this is what I need. Also, it was pretty urgent. If we didn't make changes, we were going to go backwards. Not that we're going to lose our house. It wasn't like that. James's design agency was going fine.
Yeah.
However, I
You weren't
didn't.
in a good position.
Yeah, I wasn't okay with that. I wasn't letting my mistakes cost the family stuff. So it was like, I had to make it happen, and I think that urgency forced the issue, which was great.
That's that.
And I reckon even just running a business for a long time, you learn that you have to do stuff.
Yeah.
It's part of being mature. It's like, I've got a mortgage, I've got a family, we have to get paid. And I don't just mean that in this business, I mean in my previous one as well. You just learn that I make things happen myself, so I must make this work. And I reckon when you first start out, sometimes you don't, like, ingrained in your brain, those connections aren't there yet.
It's like entitlement, like it should just work or it shouldn't be hard.
Yeah,
It's
or I
weird,
want to
but
just do the minimum that I can to get some results. Like, it doesn't work like that.
That's what
You
everyone who's an employee does. That's
Yeah,
why we have
yeah.
to be, not because they're bad, it's just just path of least resistance. Everyone always does a minimum they have to get by.
Yeah.
And you're right, that carries into business when you start, because I had it at the beginning, I reckon. Kind of, and not really. But yeah, I think that's really
I
important.
think too, realizing that I'm driven by significance
Yeah.
and getting great results and being in a room and people saying you're doing a bloody good job was like, oh really? Oh cool, I didn't even know. I was just like head down. Yeah, exactly. I like that. Okay, well I'll just keep doing that. It seems to be working. It's good for me. It's good for the greater good, and it's good for the other people and the the clients.
That's just great self-awareness.
Rock on. Let's keep doing that then.
Great self-awareness. Most people don't have that self-awareness. That's awesome. Great, guys. So if you were to both give 3 big success factors, or what you believe to be the 3 biggest things that you could teach these guys about running a successful coaching business, what pieces of advice would you give? You can combo them, so whoever's got one that they're like, yeah, this will definitely be one, go for it. 3.
The standard advice is so true, to find the right niche. That's what I would say. And that's one of the reasons that our business has gone so well, is because we know the niche inside out, honestly. Elicia was a massage therapist for 16 years, running her own clinic, gone through the whole journey exactly that our clients want to do.
Yes.
And I was married to a massage therapist for that time.
Yeah.
So we've got a really great insight into that, and we just know exactly what they want, how
Awesome
they
advice.
speak, how they connect, all that kind of stuff. And so it was like we were gifted with that at the start, because we already had that kind of solid foundation. But some people come in not knowing that so tightly.
Yeah,
So the
definitely.
first thing to do is really just to get that. If
That's-
you need to spend time, do that first.
And just to let you guys know, we'll be talking at the end of this, or I'll be talking about what we put on offer, which is a coaching business overhaul session where we can get one of our coaches to help you find a niche. Unfortunately, most coaches don't know what that is, don't understand it, but it essentially creates demand for your product. People want to buy it based on it being profitable, and a profitable niche is set up when you've got a client that has a problem that's painful enough that they want it solved. And for a massage therapist, the pain is that this is their dream and it's not working. For somebody that's a career coach, they do it. Their clientele hate what they do and they want to leave that, so it's so painful. Or someone that's overweight, they hate themselves when they look in the mirror, and that sucks, but it's true, and it's painful enough to invest a premium price point to solve it.
But just solidly commit to it. Don't analyze shit. Don't look at anything and go, oh, but what's my click through? Who gives a rip? Just launch. I couldn't tell you the stats from those 25 campaigns that we launched,
You just did
because
it.
I never looked at them.
Yeah.
I just head down, tail up.
Yeah.
What I learnt, the biggest thing I learnt from it was that I knew the 4 top things massage therapists dealt with, because it's what I dealt with. But on a sales call, when someone said, this is my biggest problem, I'd write that down,
Yeah.
and that would be my next marketing campaign.
Yeah.
Like, the more I did sales, the more I learnt my market,
Yeah.
because it's marketing research.
Yeah.
Like, when you go, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that makes, of course, because I'm like, of course I can help with that. Duh. Right, next headline.
Yeah.
That was my next hook, or that was my next webinar topic.
Yeah.
And
so
just
good.
model model the people you're working with. Like,
So-
literally follow the plan and do that stuff.
Yeah, so funny, because it's almost, for me, either someone's smart enough and mature enough to do that and trust the process because they've paid somebody who's got the results and just trust that. If that doesn't apply, then the dumber someone is, the more results they get.
Oh my God. That's so true.
So if you look at the clients in 7-figure,
Yeah.
whoever's less intelligent,
Yeah.
that just is ignorant and just trusts
Just does it.
the
Oh, okay,
process.
I
let's
love
just
how
do
you
it.
said the first part of that sentence just to make us not feel bad. It's just like, oh, I don't mean
Well,
you guys are
aren't.
dumb, but well.
Yeah, but you've been in business for ages. You're mature. You just do the work.
Yeah.
Whereas people that aren't in that category, the dumber somebody is, the more results they get. Because they don't think anything's going to be hard. They just do. You say do 10 campaigns. They do 10 campaigns. And like,
Yeah.
oh, results. And they get on the sales calls. Just say this, and they're like, oh, it sounds weird, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
And they get results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's really
exactly,
interesting.
just do it. And we find the same with our clients. The people who get the best result in the quarter are the people who have
Are the
done
dumbest.
100% of their work.
Yeah.
Like they look at their plan and they've actually actioned it. And I remember saying to someone who's like, I'm not getting results. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's have a look at your plan that we set for the quarter.
Yeah.
How much do you think you've actioned? And they're like, oh, maybe 30%.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how much of the result?
30%'s good.
I think I've done about 30% of the result. Okay, cool. So what would happen if we changed that? And literally the person I said that to has now left their full-time job and is massaging full-time
Yeah.
after 20 years in business.
It's crazy.
It's only been the last 12 weeks that she's built up enough momentum to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Because she did the work she needed.
Yeah.
She wasn't spinning her wheels anymore. It's
Yeah.
no different when it comes to coaching.
Yeah.
It's not
And
that hard.
And for us, anyone that joins our process, it's $16K. And if they do all the work and they don't have a $100,000 a year business at the end of the 12 months, we refund. Because we just know that every single person that does the work does the work will get minimum a six-figure business. It's so simple. It's just doing the fucking work. So anyway, now that we've had our rant,
We are.
what's the third point?
I think it was great to be able to. I'm pretty visual, so I've got my first 100 clients on this cartoon drawing thing that I hand coloured in. I had 100 like numbers, like a little thermometer, and I literally hand coloured them all in and put all their names around, which is now framed in the office.
So cool.
Because I'm so grateful for 100 people's lives that stepped up and committed to changing their lives.
Yep.
And some of those guys we're still in contact with now. They're in our core program. And
That's the upsell. That's the premium program, which
Yeah.
you'll get to after you've succeeded for minimum 6 months.
which is exactly what we did. And that's why James came on board in the business to actually create that core program.
Yeah.
So we still run it, our Keystone, and I have everyone's names on the wall because sometimes it can get a little bit overwhelming when you've got 60 clients all of a sudden you're looking after. All of our core clients have got photos up on the wall, and all of our fully booked with our burnout clients are here, so I can see exactly what week are they in, what coach was theirs, where are they from, etc. So when they tag me in a question, I can see it. So like having the visuals to be able to grow is really important, because otherwise it can feel overwhelming, especially if you're thinking one-to-one. It's like, how could I handle all this stuff? Just by getting great systems. When you've got great systems in your business, you can actually see the lives that you're changing.
Yes.
It makes it tangible and makes it so much easier.
Yeah, awesome. So what would your third piece of advice be? Because that was a big one. Do you have one more, James or Elicia? These guys are at the start of their journeys. They want to make it work, and they're just lost. What?
Maybe the third one, like at the start, hustle is the big thing. It's like literally just get out there and be active, do everything, and find what works by just throwing mud at the wall and looking at what sticks.
Yeah.
But then I think as you have done that for a little while, you do need to become a bit smarter.
Yes.
Because it takes so much energy to have that
Yes, it
initial
does.
thing. You can get to like the natural limit of where you sit just by being hustly, by having that extreme action.
Hustly.
That's
That's
right.
great word.
Hustly. Just made that one up. But then the systems is the next thing. And
Yeah.
it sounds, it's like the people who love the hustle have trouble with systems, and the people who love the systems have trouble getting started at all.
Yeah.
But I think in the end you need both
You
kinds
do.
of skills to actually make it even higher up. And that's certainly the journey we've been through. It's like the extreme energy at the start was heaps of fun, and you get wins quickly, and it energizes you, and it's really awesome. And then looking back, the numbers now are actually better. Like they're bigger and more consistent and better than they were at the start. But it kind of just doesn't feel as exciting every day because it's not the same extreme leap of energy. It's like, yeah, that's right. It's like, okay, great. So we need some new software to make this work better or something. And it's like,
Joy.
awesome, let's do it.
If that's
Let's
it,
have a
let's go
meeting
back
with
to
our
the
financial
vintage-
advisor
Yeah.
again. Oh my
Let's-
goodness. It's just all that kind of stuff.
And I think too, for people who are just starting out, one of the biggest things that I hear people struggle with, like when I'm at retreat and I'm talking to people who are just starting out, is that it's almost like, is this hustle of working full time while they're building their coaching business, and they might be a parent and they're going, oh my gosh, and it's almost like there's this perception that they have to stay in this hustle mode forever.
Yeah.
But realizing it's just a season,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and set a deadline. Go, right, you know what, I'm going to head down, tail up for 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Because if you do what I did, if you head down, tail up, and you work at 9 o'clock at night till 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm a dyslexic, high school dropout, mum of two, running a business and rocking it. Anybody can do
Yes.
this stuff. It's not
Yes.
rocket science, okay?
It wasn't easy though either.
90% of marketing campaigns have spelling errors, except when James does them. Yeah?
That last 10% of
And
mine.
I get, this is what I love, right? Because people go, oh, I can't do this because I'm dyslexic. I'm like, well, so am I. And people say to me, oh, Leash, just letting you know it's a spelling error. I'm like, cool, let's talk to me about your business. I sell them.
That's right.
Like, that is literally what I'm like, I will flip that to work for me, sell them into the program and change their life in more ways than one, and learn about the 80-20 rule, and who cares about spelling. So I think it's realising that hustle is just a season. It's not forever.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be like that forever, because once you break through,
Yes.
you leave your full-time job, your kids will still be there, you can
Yes.
go to overseas with your family and rock it.
Yeah, and it's a choice as well, because you can choose to free up that time initially by being more risky, or you can choose to stay in full time and be less risky, but have to work way longer and be way less have way less energy because you're working so long. So that's a choice, but it's also it's a season if you commit to it. If not, you never break through it. You never get to the other side, and that's where most people fall. They're like, well, I don't want to work hard enough now, or they'll do it for 4 weeks, but they won't do it for 12 weeks. And that 4 weeks, if you don't get through the 12 weeks, you stay there forever. If you don't get through it, you stay there forever. So it's like you get through the 12 weeks of, if you want to label it negatively and say pain, to get to long-term gain. You get there if you get through it, but most people never get through it. So it's a season if you get through it, and then you can hire and you can get to that boring next stage.
It's exciting. It's just exciting.
It is
Different
exciting.
ways, different
And that's
ways.
been the big theme of us and in the process at the moment, and with me especially as well, falling in love with what you're doing again. It's really loving everything that you get to do and turning back to the numbers and the people and getting grateful. If you can do that every day, it makes the process a lot easier. And you can, it's a choice. And I feel like there's a lot of people in the space as well who are spiritual that misinterpret the meaning of flow. Flow, for most people who are spiritual coaches, means avoidance. That doesn't flow with, like, that's not flow for me. Whereas flow is a choice, because you're going to have to do the same things regardless, but you can choose to look at it as something you're grateful for, or choose to look at it as something that you despise or you resent. So that's an awesome point. Great. That's the course. That's me done. I'm out of here. That's awesome. So my last kind of question is based on the fact that after this, what we have on offer for these guys is what we call the Coaching Business Overhaul, which is a free session where it's 2 sessions plus a bunch of content. Essentially tells them everything they need to do to get to 7 figures. But it is also a bit daunting and overwhelming, because everything that they're doing right now is most likely wrong, and everything's going to get changed around. Sounds hard, but why would you recommend that people do that free process, and why would you suggest that people don't do that free process?
I think it's easy when we've got really exciting ideas to get to the back of the box. This is my way of doing it. I'm just going to do this. And what happens when we do that is that we miss so much stuff that's around us. Like when you're driving and it's raining and you're focused on your steering wheel and the windscreen, you're not even noticing the fact that there are cars everywhere, or there might be water on the road or whatever.
Yeah.
So when you do something like that process, it gives you the opportunity to look around and actually explore it with curiosity, and have somebody sitting there with you going, have you thought about this? No. What about this? Oh my gosh. And you actually get to see the possibilities rather than just go, this is how I'm going to do it. And once you've got all of those, then it's kind of like, cool, now we've got all this stuff, what will we do with it? And it gives you so many more resources to be able to make some great decisions in moving forward in your business.
Yeah, because I'll leave it with a plan, but why would you discourage some people? Like, who wouldn't be right for it in your opinion, knowing how we operate and what we're like? Because you know how I'm like. If they were to talk to me or one of our team, who wouldn't it be right for? Just honestly.
Probably people who are perfectionists and don't take a lot of action, maybe. Although even then, there's no reason not to have a call and get another idea. But I certainly think this program is definitely set up for people who want to take lots of action, who are ready to allow it to be meaningful, to have someone telling them they've got to take action.
Yeah.
And people who have resistance to that, or who think they already know the best way and don't want to be told this is better, or just do these things and ignore those other thoughts, they're going to find it tricky. They're going to struggle with that whole process.
Because we're very direct.
Yeah, very direct. Yeah, and I know for me, like Leash started with this process, and I've come in after that was all set up and running, and I'm kind of glad it was that way, because I already saw the results that were happening before I needed to overcome that kind of mental challenge of would this work or not.
Yes.
So for me, that was really good because I am a very intellectual decision maker. I don't really know what would have happened if I had been the one on the other end of the phone. I
Yeah.
might have gone, oh, thanks, Ryan. Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
Cool. Cheers
Yeah.
for that. And
Yeah.
gone off and done my own thing.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But it certainly has worked for us.
Mm.
And there's no reason not to follow a path that works. Whether it's
Because the reason that we do these sessions is because we're on the hunt for amazing people. We do this to change the world, but finding the right people is difficult. Hence why I asked, why would you discourage some people? Because we're not on the hunt for everybody. We want to find the right people. And what we do in this session is we map it all out so you can know what to do, and we know if we can help you or not. And once it's all out, we often have people that turn around and go, tell us about what you do, and want to work with us. And that happened to Elicia. James, they'd already discussed and said, if it comes up, let's not do this because it's not the right time.
Leash had told me that. Like, to go back to that story at the start, Leash had said to me, we're going up to this event with Ryan. I really love Ryan. I love his stuff. But I don't want to buy it today. We'll start next year. So Leash had said to me, if I get tempted to buy, tell me not to. Right? And I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
And then the
3
next
weeks
day, or yeah, whenever it was, we're in the shower in the morning, and Leisha's like, oh, by the way, I signed up to Ryan's program. And I'm like, what?
Well, I'm glad you told him in the shower. What a relaxing, beautiful place to tell him.
Yeah.
You have to pick your moments with these things.
Yeah, 100%. But the fact that you were like, yes, you knew, you saw it mapped out, you understood, and you said, yes, I can commit to doing the work. And if it doesn't work, then there's no risk because there's a guarantee. And you did the work and then got the results. But it's not for everybody. That's the big point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
You guys did the work. Anyone else that's dumb, perfect.
Yeah,
You're
that's
just going to
right.
follow the plan. You don't
That's
have to be
awesome.
smart. You just have to do the work, care about your clients, and really have a good heart. Or you just need to be really committed and serious about the journey. You need to treat it maturely. Like, you can see how grounded and mature these guys are. Most people aren't. It's a big kind of pipe dream. It's like a get rich quick. That is not what this is. It's a process that can allow you to skip 20 years if you're going to try to get the same results in corporate. But you got to be courageous and consistent. And that's it. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Love you both. Really appreciate having you here. And congratulations. You guys are smashing it.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you.
Boom. Boom.